Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Tuesday, April 26th, 2016, around 8:29 in the evening in Berwick, Massachusetts. The clouds are breaking up. Tonight is going to get down to freezing. Tomorrow will be in the 50s. But get used to several frosty nights for the next several nights because of it being clear and cool. So it's going to be a while before 60s and 70s on a consistent basis. Next week could start off cool again with more cold rain. Some news to report. The Clippers are going to be without their star player Blake Griffin for the rest of the playoffs because he's battling injuries. Chris Paul's out indefinitely, so the Clippers could be out of the playoffs. Lots of injuries happening in the NBA playoffs, so it's going to be real tough. And also sad news to report in baseball. A's minor league pitcher Sean Murphy passed away at the age of 27. Cause of death unknown right now. There's been rumors that it's something to do with a drug overdose, but that's just speculation. And that's about it on news. My third and final video blog subject of the night is about the former segment of GSN called GSN Live. GSN Live lasted for 3 years from February of 2008 through July of 2011, and it usually lasted between 3 to 6 hours in the daytime. And GSN Live was hosted by Fred Rogan and Heidi Bohan and Kelly Packer and Alfonso Rubio and Bob Gooney and Deborah, don't know her last name, among others. And it was a segment of programming that they showed classic game shows, and during the commercials, before the commercials, they had the host, and they usually talked about, the classic game shows, and they would have interactive stuff like viewers over the phone or over the internet, winning cool prizes, either Heidi or Fred or Alfonso or Deborah or Bob would give them questions, and they would have to answer them for prizes. Some of the questions were mini games, and they were pretty good. And they actually also had guests on to talk about their experience in game shows. Sometimes they would have classic host or classic contestants or classic celebrities, and sometimes when those have the game show host or the classic contestants for a particular week, they would show their shows they were on, which was pretty cool. Some of the game shows they showed during GSN Live were Super Password and Family Feud and Card Sharks and Password Plus and Body Language and Beat the Clock and Let's Make a Deal and Blockbusters and Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. It got to be one of the most popular things on GSN with GSN Live. And they even had stuff you could do GSN Live on the internet at questions. You would have to answer them, and you would gotten points, which you could have redeemed for like lots of cool stuff like gift cards or magazine subscriptions or grand prizes like big screen TVs or even trips around the world. And they even had GSN Live Radio on several on like satellite radio and internet radio, and a few radio stations had GSN Live. It was hosted by Bob Golan, and it was, only lasted a year or so. And GSN Live was kind of like struggling towards the end. They expanded it to 6 hours in 2009, but cut back to 3 hours. They had all of their co-hosts leave. Bob Gooney was the last regular co-host. He was co-hosting it solo, and they had a lot of budget cuts. By 2011, GSN decided to cancel GSN Live, and their last broadcast was in May of 2011, but they kept the GSN Live moniker into July of 2011. And I watched a couple of the segments of GSN Live, and it was pretty cool to have them with the interactive stuff, and also was cool to have game show host and celebrities talk about their game show experiences. But they didn't really have too much time to say stuff because they had very few segments to do it in. And what would have been real good if they could have extended the block, and maybe instead of cramming in all those game shows, have maybe 5 game shows instead of 6 of them. You could have scheduled the game shows 12 o'clock, 12:40, 1:20, 2 o'clock, and 2:40. So you could have easily had more segments done for the interviews. And that was when GSN had all the good classic game shows around, but they don't have them anymore, just in the early mornings. And that's about it on GSN Live. And I'll be back tomorrow. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google Plus with 3 more video blogs coming your way. First video blog will be about top 10 worst professional sports teams of all time. Second video blog will be about why it's hard for NHL teams to do back-to-back Stanley Cup winners in this day and age. And the third and final video blog of the night tomorrow will be about the WWE, the new generation years from 1993 through 1996. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Brennan guy. Molly Rosenblatt of WCCO Roxanne has nice legs. Elizabeth Hart, so stunning. She's the best. She hosts Ready, Set, Renovate. Amy Swansea rocks, and her legs are so nice. And Barbara Gibbs of ABC 11 has that sweet Southern accent, and she's a cute, leggy blonde. And in the words of Sean Lucha, get out! And I know, Bruce Capozzi. And want to put a wager on that, Richie. Bruce Cronin, former co-worker at Hot Hanks Data Technology. Good night, everybody.